Hello YouTube, I'm back with another video, and this time your girl got her a microphone. Alright guys, this is my recap of Championship Sunday. We get the NFC Championship, the AFC Championship. So let's start with the Saints versus Rams, the NFC Championship. And boy, do I have a lot to say about that game. Okay, so opening drive, it was a solid one for the Saints. Saints could have scored on the opening drive. However, the tight end dropped the pass in the end zone. And in championship games like this, you cannot make those types of drops. Could have been a difference maker in the game if the Saints scored on their first and second drives. However, first drive ended up leaving the score 3-0, and the Rams opened up their opening drive, and it was an awful opening drive. You got Jared Goff, probably championship jitters, I'm not sure. He's never been on such a big stage before, but he threw an early interception, and luckily for the Rams, this only led to a field goal. Saints could have been up 14-0. Instead, they're up 6-0. And I think luck was very, very key in this game for the Rams. Sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good, and I think that the lucky team won, not necessarily the good team. I think the Saints were the better team in this game. They had all the odds in their favor to win. Drew Brees, 6-0 at home. The Saints never lost a playoff game at home since 1993. That loss this past Sunday was really, really tough for them. You know, Falcons fans, it was awesome. Okay, so Drew Brees, in spite of it all, he's the man. I hate that his season ended in that crazy interception in overtime. However, I don't think that he needs a Super Bowl ring because he's going to go to the Hall of Fame regardless if he goes back to the Super Bowl. Man has pretty much all the passing yard records except for most passing yards in a single season. Even without that, he has 5 passing yard seasons. And he's about to break Peyton Manning's touchdown record next season. Just padding his resume of why he deserves to be in Canton once he retires. Back to the game. Johnny Hekker, you know, he is the punter for the Rams. And this man averages, 50 yards per kick. Not only can he kick that ball far, he can also throw it. He threw the pass on 4th and 6, 4th and 8. Don't remember which one it was, but it was a 4th down conversion on a fake punt pass. Hekker is now 12 out of 20 on his career for however many yards and 1 touchdown. So good for him. That man is money. So then you have Brandon Cooks, former Saints wide receiver. He had himself a game. He had a series of clutch catches, one of which led to a Rams touchdown to put them within a field goal of the Saints. And then opening drive, third quarter, you have Kamara, then you have Ingram, both very, very talented running backs, and they were responsible for about 90% of that opening third quarter drive. And it was capped off by a Taysom Hill touchdown catch by Drew Brees. That is Taysom Hill's first career touchdown reception. The former BYU quarterback is used as a hybrid player on offense and special teams. Sean Payton, being the talented head coach that he is, knows how to use his talents to the best of his ability, and it has shown. Has also pissed off fantasy owners this season. And then you have Tyler Higbee, an underutilized tight end on the Rams offense. He caught a clutch touchdown reception in the third quarter on a Jared Goff play-action pass. Once again, it made it a field goal game. The Rams kept it competitive. That's what makes the NFC Championship way more interesting than the AFC Championship. But I'll get to that in just a second. Okay, so Jared Goff himself. Now, people had this man being a bust after a disastrous rookie season, myself included. However, this man has done a complete 180 over the past couple years. Once they fired the Rams coach Jeff Fisher and brought in Sean McVay, he has completely changed. He's blossomed into this clutch pocket passing quarterback. You know, I'm just rooting for the Rams to win the Super Bowl. Jared Goff and Sean McVay have a very, very strong relationship, and I hope it continues. So back to Drew Brees for a moment. You know, Drew Brees turned 40 last week. The old man is still slinging it like he's 20 years old. I'm talking dimes. He threw a 43-yard pass to Ted Ginn in the fourth quarter with 2:05 remaining. On the other hand, nobody will ever remember that play because everybody will never forget this play. So Drew Brees threw the ball to Tommy Lee Lewis, and Nickell Robey-Coleman bumped into Tommy Lee Lewis. The refs missed it. It was a pass interference call. The Saints fans were booing. Social media went crazy. Even Nickell Robey-Coleman himself admitted that it was pass interference. Even the NFL called Sean Payton and told him that it was pass interference after the fact. This game right here, I do think the Saints were the better team and they had the odds in their favor to win. But, for the Rams, sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. And the Rams in this game were definitely lucky. This game did go into overtime, and I think overtime rules in the NFL suck. And I'll get into that in just a second. But let's talk about the Saints and the Rams during overtime. So the Saints won the toss, and Drew Brees was leading his team down the field. But on third down, he was blitzed by Fowler. He got his hand on his throwing arm. He affected the way he threw the ball, and he forced probably the worst interception of Drew Brees' career. But it was not his fault at all. And then the Rams, Jared Goff did his thing. He led them to field goal range and to the 40-yard line. Despite the bad snap, Greg Zuerlein was able to boot a 57-yard field goal to send the Rams to Super Bowl 53. And like I said, I am rooting for the Rams to win Super Bowl 53 because the NFL has no parity whatsoever. Let's talk about the AFC Championship game. However, before we start, let's just talk about Sony Michel and Todd Gurley. These running backs came from Georgia. And, there's something special about Georgia running backs. I'm looking at Sony Michel. I'm just like, am I really looking at Sony Michel? Or am I looking at a younger Emmitt Smith? Like, seriously. He scored 5 postseason touchdowns as a rookie in the postseason. That is crazy. Insane. Even though Todd Gurley didn't have as much of an impact as he would like to have had in the NFC Championship game, I think that, he led the NFL in scrimmage yards this season again. I might be mistaken. That probably was Ezekiel Elliott. It's either those two. Kind of got sidetracked, but let's talk about the AFC Championship game. I don't really have much to say about this game as much as I had to say about the Saints versus Rams game. There is quite a bit to be said. As always, Patriots look dominant in the playoffs. They dominated the first half. They held the Chiefs to 0 points in the first half. Mahomes came out into MVP Mahomes in the second half. He had a few clutch plays, quite a few amazing throws in the game. Unfortunately, that defense is crappy. They ranked 31st in the NFL, and they just fired their defensive coordinator this week. Andy Reid is now 1-5 in conference championship games. He has the most appearances by an NFL coach without a Super Bowl ring, which is awful. You can't help but to root for the guy, and he probably will retire without a Super Bowl ring, which is awful. And Tom Brady, this is probably his blooper moment in the game, that interception in the red zone. Other than that, Tommy Terrific is always Tommy Perfect. He's 41 years old, but man, that man is slinging it like he's still 21 years old. Let's be real. Just like Drew Brees is still slinging it like he's 20 years old. Say what you want, Tom Brady is immortal. He's making his 9th Super Bowl appearance, which is about less than half of my lifetime. I really didn't have much to say about this game other than, Mahomes had a few clutch plays, but his defense couldn't keep them together. Brady was pretty much dominant in this game. The Patriots pretty much dominated the first half of the game. Sony Michel is magic. Yeah, this team really does come alive in the postseason. If you are a fan of any team in the AFC, I feel sorry for you because there is no parity in the NFL, at least in the AFC. Okay, NFC, you see different teams in the Super Bowl every year. AFC, however, is Brady. Now that Manning's gone, it's pretty much Brady's conference. He pretty much dominates the conference. Once again, the refs are incompetent in this game. That's never anything new. They call a BS roughing the passer call on Chris Long.
So there is a flag. Defense number 95. And right there he slapped.
And it's just like, you look at the clip and he's barely touched. Are you serious, refs? Really? In that case, you call all those roughing the passer calls. Okay, and like I said, we're going to talk about why overtime rules suck. So this game is another example of why the NFL should revise their overtime rules. It does not make sense that a team who gets the ball on their opening possession and scores a touchdown, they automatically win the game. That is unfair, especially to Patrick Mahomes, who did not even touch the ball at all in overtime. Brady led that team down the field, capped it off with a Rex Burkhead touchdown, and he punched the ticket to Super Bowl 53. It came down to that coin toss, man. If the Chiefs won the toss, Mahomes would have done his thing. Chiefs would have been the Super Bowl versus the Rams. Now that's the game that we all wanted to see. We all wanted to see the Chiefs versus the Rams in the Super Bowl. Not the same thing every single year, but it is what it is, you know. The Patriots are just stacked. No matter what adversity they face every season, they always find a way to end up back in the Super Bowl, and it's just insane. So yeah, you know, I didn't really have much to say about this game. Andy Reid, lack of postseason success. The refs are incompetent, nothing new. Speaking of lack of postseason success, Cowboys fans, Tony Romo is going to be in the Super Bowl as the color commentator. So great for him. Okay, so hit that like button, subscribe. I post videos every single week, and I will see you next time.